let's just go into this and introduce our players. To the bottom right-hand side of the map, our blue Protoss player is going to be Super. And he's going to be going up against the red Protoss player to the top left-hand side. Let's hear it, guys, if you're cheering on Creator. So, a lot of the times we casted Super was back in the W Star Masters, and we haven't done that for a while because actually the event got put on hold for a while. Not exactly too sure why, but it got put on hold, and does just mean that we haven't actually really casted Super all too much lately. He plays in the Lei Feng now and then, and you know, a couple of other things, but it feels as though we haven't. We used to cast him a lot because he used to have very good results in the W Star Masters on a daily basis. Nowadays, not so much. So, unfortunately, he's someone we don't get to see as often as we used to. But it's intrigued to see how he does against Creator here. Creator, someone who's been seeing more and more of the last couple of weeks in these events. As we see a couple of gates on the way up from both players at the moment. A probe from Creator continue to come down through the center of the map and looking to see where he can head towards over the next few minutes. See if he can pick up any early information. Both players with the double gate opening in the PvP. I wonder if we're going to see a bit of a longer PvP. Our PvP so far today, despite seeing so many of them, really have been focused on the early game. On killing each other early, on winning the game early. And not so much sort of getting into that mid-late game, which we saw so much of at the Casper Cup from Neeb and the pros players he played against, because he sort of forced them into that sort of stage of the game. I'm going to see this probe from Creator just going to be moving in down to the bottom right-hand side, and we are just going to be seeing a couple of adepts currently on the way up from Super. So a couple of adepts on the way up from Super. And yeah, just setting up still, waiting to see exactly how this will turn out in the early stages. Obviously, we've seen a lot of PvP, and it gets to this point where you get so much of a single matchup in one day, and it gets to this point where you're like, well, you know, we've all sort of seen this before if you've been tuned in for a little while. We've said it all before already, and, you know, we start to see all the same maps again and again as well, so it's a little bit like, well, what do we say next? You know, what do we talk about now that's a bit different? Well, there's a Stargate for us to talk about. So this is a build we haven't really seen yet today. Just going 2-gate Adept into Stargate, because what we have seen a lot of is sort of 2 gates into maybe a fast Robo, or maybe a 3rd gateway and a proxy Stargate, but this specific sort of time, a set of times from Creator is a little bit different, so generally you would look to maybe expand behind this. There is the potential to then just add a pylon and just attack across the map, but yeah, expansion is generally the way to go, and you just get that Oracle up, bit of a later expansion, not that much later, but the Oracle up to harass and to put yourself into a bit of a stronger location. Any Terran players today, asked Martinator in the chat, so unfortunately not. We had Jachi earlier in Group A, but that was it. He's the only Terran player in Group A of the SGL. I don't actually know, I can't remember what the other groups are like. If you give me a moment, I'm going to try and, if I go on my phone, I should be able to get past Groups A and B without actually seeing anything. Without actually seeing, like, yeah, okay, I got past without seeing any results. Okay, so Group C, we have Tails, Reyno, Blind, Yishi, so that's also going to be Protoss and Zerg. But Group D is going to be Keen, MC, Clem, and Bunny. So lots of Terrans in Group D, and that's a couple of weeks from now, unfortunately. I was just going to be seeing this depth wall happening at the front, nothing too major. Oracle going down the left-hand side, not spotted just yet. And just going to be moving down in this direction to see what sort of angle you can come in from, see if you can get much damage done. The opening out of Super has been this Resonating Glaive, so seeing Glaives already coming up, we have seen this more and more lately. It's been a big shift in the metagame to move towards this Resonating Glaives playstyle. And so that's what he's been sort of heading in towards, and what a lot of people have been heading towards, and it just allows for very aggressive Adept-based armies throughout the earlier stages of the game. So we'll see if he does want to turn that into aggression, or if there's another plan for him. He's got a Robo up if he wants a Warp Prism or so. As we're just going to be seeing an Observer from Creator coming out as well. He's obviously on that Robo facility, but due to the Stargate and the Oracle production, he is not on the Twilight production or Twilight cancel just yet, as we're going to see a probe or two going to get picked off. Stalker's taking a little bit of damage here and continue to take some more damage throughout this right now as we see more and more Stalkers coming forwards, and the probes being picked off one at a time. Actually, these Adepts getting a lot of damage done. 5 workers killed. And jumping in towards the main base now. One more worker again picked off as well. 2 Adepts going to shade down in towards the natural expansion. And 7 kills in total. Good damage by Creator. Puts him in PvP when you lose 7 workers like that and you don't have anything to immediately sort of counter harass with. it puts you into a really awkward position, because that's now a lever worker disadvantage. And the problem is that now Super has no way to make it back in the work account until Creator stops making workers, because he's fully saturated on 2 bases, which is fairly soon. But until then, Super is behind in economy for all this time, so that's a bit of a weak point right now, and it's definitely Creator who takes the early advantage here in Game 1 on King's Age on Station. To the right hand side, an Oracle is going to be moving around as well, having a bit of a peek around to see what's going on. Again, plenty of gates up in the main base of Super. Robo Facility going to be finishing up this Warp Prism very shortly as well. And yeah, just going to be continuing to set up into this. Twilight Council is going to be finishing very soon from Creator. Another gateway or 2 being added on as well. And these 2 pylons from Creator also just being added and continuing to set on up. That Immortal is just over halfway done, so Immortal just over halfway done right now. Resonating Glaives is starting to come out here. So Glaives starting to come on up, and you just see Creator starting to poke in towards the natural mineral line. Comes in, drops a Revelation, and we just see a few probes just getting revelated there. Obviously, just keeps a track of things and just sees, well, you know, is there anything that is, is there no defense in the natural for this Oracle to come in and get damage or so? As we see an Zac through the center, Super. It's interesting, he has that Glaives upgrade, but he only has 3 Adepts, 4 now, with a 4th one drawn in. Warp Prism comes in, drops 3 Adepts in the back, okay, well, that makes a bit more sense. Just going to harass with this. These 3 Adepts go towards the main base. Still interesting that he just only has this many Adepts and made so many Stalkers. I guess he was forced into it because of the Oracle. It's just kind of interesting. I wonder if the Stargate play of the Oracle is kind of somewhat a counter to this sort of Resonating Glaives-based opening, because you force more Stalkers than Adepts, which you really want to build because that's what you're upgrading. It's an interesting idea. It's something I haven't actually really thought about until I sort of see this game now, because it feels as though Creator is really sort of just limiting the kind of potential of the army of his opponent right now. I mean, even he has more Adepts than his opponent, and he doesn't have Glaives yet. 3 more Adepts in towards the main base, but there's that Oracle coming into the natural, and I mean, he has shields to work with, so 5-6 kills. He's going to pick up even more. He's actually going to stick in this natural for even longer. 10-11 kills. And okay, well, now he puts himself at a 15 worker advantage. Obviously, to some extent, Super caught up, as we see actually hold that fort because it pounds from Super at the front. Trying to attack forwards here. He is getting good force fields. Warp Prism is overhead. Doesn't pick up that first Immortal, though. Don't think Creator realizes he's got a Warp Prism there. He just has so much anyway. His own Glaives is finished. And he just has the better composition with Immortals. More Adepts than his opponent. And that's what allows him to power through, take game number 1, and put himself into 1. So let's go back into some icy cold weather. And to the bottom right hand side, introduce our blue Protoss player from Africa. Let's hear it if you're cheering on Super. To the top left hand side, our red Protoss player is going to be Creator. And we set on up now to have a look to see how exactly this is going to be going. So, Gateway is starting to build here from Creator. And a couple of probes, or probe just on the way up from both players as well. Simulate will be added on here, so Simulate gets added on. And as I mentioned, the Gateway on the way up from both. Second gas coming down as well from Super, so we should see pretty much the same from Creator. I said this all day long as well, where, honestly, in Frozen Temple PvP, the last thing you want to do is change away from the standard 2 gateway opening and go into something a little bit more punishable, a little bit more risky. It's the last thing you want to do, so very standard stuff here, I guess, as we just see the second gate coming down. Slight timing differences, but nothing too major. In fact, Super might have even just had 2 workers in each gas, hasn't even saturated this gas yet, so very slight differences, really similar openings from both players for the early stages. How are we doing in the chat? We're all still doing good. We're all still enjoying the game. It's been a good stream, actually. I didn't think, well, obviously we had a lot of hosts and stuff, but I didn't think we'd have as good of a stream this evening, especially considering we're casting replays and so on, but it's been really good. It's been really enjoyable as well. I've had a good time. I'm glad we decided. I'm glad I decided to stream because I was really tired. I was like, man, maybe I should just not. Maybe I should just give up on it for the night or something. But yeah, glad I came on. Glad I'm casting, and hope again you guys are indeed enjoying it as well with me, and so on and so on. As we have this probe just moving over to the right-hand side. A couple of Stalkers currently on the way up. And the Cybernetics core just being Corona boosted by the Warp Gate. Pylon comes up in the back of the mineral line as well, so Pylon on the way up there, and again, just 2 Adepts from Super starting to move out. So 2 Adepts from Super moving out, going to go over to the left. And those 2 Adepts is going to be moving around, looking to see what's happening. 2 Stalkers of Creator will move out through into the center of the map. So 2 Stalkers of Creator are going to move through the center. And they are going to be just positioning themselves to see what will be happening next. 2 Adepts from Super at the moment are going to be moving around. They actually sneak around the side, so potential for some damage here. Shading on up. 2 more Stalkers have just popped though. He's actually going to come down, probably cancel. Doesn't want to shade in next to 2 Stalkers. The last thing he wants to do. Doesn't want to start taking damage too early, although he does get found by the Stalkers. One Adept going to lose its shields very quickly as the Stalkers continue to chase away. Pop. They do go end up, where did they end up? Over here in the main base. A couple of workers killed, that's 3, and actually a 4th as well. So actually Super getting good damage done here early. Pylon on the other side of the map from Creator looking as though he might just pop down another gateway and just get super aggressive here in the next few moments. He's got 4 Stalkers at the moment. He killed those 2 Adepts, which naturally gives him a bit of an army advantage. There you go, gateway comes down, and the Stargate as well. Wow, this build's become very popular lately. The triple gate with the Stargate too. It's interesting. We've seen it a lot today. Maxet used it, Jim used it, now Creator is using it as well. He's just going to be gathering together from Creator. I mean, he has a lot of Stalkers. You look at the unit tab, 6-2 at the moment. Sentry is out in favor of Super. That's something at least. As these Stalkers push forwards, pop an overcharge initially, and start zoning down the Mothership Core. Goodbye, Mothership Core, I think. Stalkers chase forwards, worthwhile, only loses shields. Kills of a vital unit here as part of the vital unit of Supers. And you can see already Super's just like, nope, you've won. This natural expansion is yours. I'm going to back away. So he realizes he has to kind of back away. He knows he can't fight this right now. Not without a Mothership Core to help him buy time to help with some extra damage. Stalkers working their way through that natural. Immortal's going to be popping out shortly, but I mean, he might be able to save the natural, but it's going to be really, really difficult. Especially now Creator has a force field. He should, providing he's paying attention, drop a force field, and so actually it shouldn't be savable for Super. And you can see right here that the Nexus is going to get taken down. So Nexus does fall. And let's see, the Mothership Core new one has just popped out as an Oracle about halfway done. And that's just going to... The thing with the Oracle is it just pulls units away and allows you to take a bit of a better engagement at the front if the rest of the units have had to pull away towards the mineral line to sort of attack this. So, going to be seeing this few Stalkers, a couple of Adepts just straighten forwards, and Immortal here as well. We're just going to be seeing the Oracle. Actually, just going to sit overhead for now, not going to make a move forwards just yet. A Phoenix as well. Yeah, I mean, if there's only one sentry, then if you come in with the Phoenix, you lift the sentry, all of a sudden no force field, you get up this ramp very easily, and that is the difference right now, I think, between the players, most like, you know, between kind of making this work and not making this work. So Phoenix is going to be popping out. There's going to be a second one on his way as well. I guess he may not know how many sentries there are, so just preparing with a second Phoenix. I'm surprised after seeing one Phoenix Super doesn't warp in another sentry. You'll see this Oracle just flying around. Not much energy on it. They already used some energy on something? I don't recall, but maybe it did. Anyways, Creator still... Well, he's actually expanded behind this, which is a little bit interesting. I mean, he knows he's got like a soft contain on his opponent. He knows that he's cancelled his opponents or killed his opponent's natural, so he knows he's in a good position. And he knows that if he just takes an expansion while keeping his opponent off of his own, he can put himself into a great position. Right now, Super is ahead by a few workers, but that doesn't matter because 10 of his workers are oversaturated. And so he isn't getting as much out of the workers that Creator has. So Creator's income should be higher. And it indeed is by about 100 to 200 minerals. So better set up here. We're going to see these Adepts coming back down to the low ground. Going to be looking to see what they can do. 6 of these Adepts going up from Creator into the high ground now. Not moving forwards just yet. Still these Phoenix moving around, and well, we see a Warp Prism across the map. Is that something that Super just saw? I think he might have done with this probe. I think that's why the Phoenix and the Oracle are heading back home. So again, soft contain for himself, hard contain on his opponent, just keeping his opponent away from anything over here. As we're just going to be seeing those Adepts just sort of moving in towards the mineral line. See, Phoenix is going to be lifting up the couple of different Phoenix here. Just a couple of different Adepts, so good defense in. Yeah, well, Prism just has to back away. The Phoenix can shut that down if they find it, so has to try and hide it, has to hope the Phoenix don't run into it as well. At the same time, some units make it down the ramp, but actually the force field cuts the army in half, and oh, it's a bit of an interesting one. 2 Moles and Void Ray picking away at these units very quickly. As the Phoenix come back in, though, they'll be able to lift up the Immortals, come in, fight the Void Ray as well, and you can just see sheer number of units from Creator right now. Looks good. Here we go. Phoenix will get rid of the Void Ray. They'll lift the Immortals, and that is just going to be way too many units, I think. Actually, doesn't even lift the Immortals. Doesn't really need to. Void Ray is going to go down once again. The Phoenix continue hunt. Now he can lift the Immortals up and just allow his Grand Army to continue to prevail. And this is Creator. With a 2-0 over Super, he will take the flawless group. Obviously dropped some maps, but 3-0 in matches, and that is him in first place of the group. And he will advance through into the playoffs in